Welcome to this week's edition of The Passion of the Digital Artist. And here he is, that passionate tradigital artist himself, Jeff Mueller.
Yes. Hey, Xavier.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, take a look, folks.
Okay. No. I've got chair envy now. Look at this thing.
We're retiring this baby right here. Say goodbye.
Bye. It's been decommissioned. No more squeaky chair.
The new chair.
And we're celebrating the new chair with
a little bit of absinthe. This
All
is
right.
the Absinthe brand. You will recognize it in your store because it has a picture of Van Gogh on the front of it.
And we're partaking.
It comes with...
And I want to point out, we're not underage, and I have a designated driver tonight, so always be safe and have fun.
And this one came with this nice
quasi-religious absinthe spoon.
I don't know what. I had one from New Orleans when we went, and then now it just came up. However, spoons come up missing. It was missing.
It's gone into another dimension.
But this is my new one, so
that's pretty awesome.
Happy. Cheers.
Cheers.
Clink.
Some of us have to work, while Jeff has all the fun. So I can't drink right at the moment, but that's okay.
There we go. Okay, so the nice new chair, and then the crazy neck beard. Look at this, folks. I'm doing the little bit of comb up.
You're like crazy neckbeard man.
And I know it is crazy gray. And just bear with me for these couple more weeks because I'm going to bring it out and then I'm going to add the color to it and then probably do something as far as shaving it off, but it's just a lifelong kind of thing with me. I just want it once in my life.
And I want to point out that the folks are getting a real good look at you now because as I'm hitting on the button to pan back, it ain't panning back. So we're having technical difficulties here.
It's all right. It's all right.
I didn't think we drank that much absinthe.
No. Is she panning back?
No, it's not panning back. All right, we're going to do a quick cut. Although it's going to seem instantaneous to you guys. It might be a half hour. We don't know.
2, 3. We're back, folks. We're back.
Wait a minute. We never left. This thing was running when you handed it to me.
Yeah, I'm going to cut it.
Okay.
I'll cut out the little...
Oh, my goodness.
Woo!
All right, well, it's a good thing that your profession is art. Our proficiency with the mechanics here isn't exactly stellar tonight. So go ahead. What do we got? What do we got this week, Jeff?
And I'm not drinking. Wait, I'm not driving either because I just have to drive into the other room to go to bed.
That's exactly right. Yeah. My son's picking me up. So.
What do we got this week? We have a little bit. There's the update. If you want to take a look at that, that is the update.
All right, I'm going to try to pan in and not get stuck this time.
Blue
all the further we're going to go.
Empire. We're getting to the point on the painting. It's getting there. Just once again, paintings. That's what I wanted to talk about. Paintings take their own. They dictate what you do. When I start out with this painting, a stunning image, black. It was practically, even though it was taken a color picture, but it was practically black and white because it's the Empire State Building at night, and it was that night it was just lit normally. So the picture was in essence a black and white picture, which I added in the blue.
Now some of you are going to see that as a black and blue picture, but others will see it as a white and gold picture.
Yeah, like the dress. Yeah, it's like whatever. Yeah, exactly. Those are the colors. And so I'm hoping you guys see it as black and blue. But okay. So anyways, working through here and working through the areas and what this painting, for instance, the Mushrooms to Heaven, it took on its own life as far as how I painted it. I went more with the Van Gogh feel, and then this particular painting I'm going more using towards the realism. Although if you magnify up, you can really get the feel for the brush strokes. But overall, this painting, I see it in a couple different ways. I see it as a 40 by 60 canvas, which then I will do my normal adjustments with my acrylic paints. There's a lot of, what would you say, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to do it. But at the same time, on this particular painting, the colors and how it's going together, I went more realistic. Not so much of it's not like what would you say, an impressionistic painting or a landscape, which I'm generalizing. This one I'm going more for the detail. The reason why it dictated the detail, and as I went along, and you could go any way that you want. I could have done it impressionistic or a lot more detail and accentuation on the brushstrokes, but I went with the realism because the detail that was happening on the actual Empire State Building, the rivets that were showing and the detail that's each
to
rung
achieve
on the
that
ladder,
neo-industrial look, that steampunk look, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and it just really is a very stunning piece. And when it's finished, I can see it as a metal print, a 40 by 60 metal print in somebody's living room. This type of thing with a different type of. So this particular painting, it's dictated the way it's going to go. It's taking a while. When I'm working on the realism, when I work with the realism, it could take, this particular painting I think I've been working on for a month. The first part of it wasn't full time, the first 2 or 3, but I've really gotten into it probably in the last week. I've been putting some time in it, so it's really coming along, and I'm enjoying working on it a lot. And sometimes that's the way it is. Sometimes you start off a painting, and I actually considered on this particular painting putting it aside and starting a different painting. David Sandstrom, who on Twitter, one of my favorite artists, David will do that. He revisits paintings. Paints them, starts them, whatever, then comes back to them, paints another one, and that type of thing. And it got me thinking, because he's always talking, well, I started this one in 2010 and I finished it now, that I would do that. But as I was thinking about doing it, because I was laboring a little bit with this particular painting and exactly how I was going to go about doing this, I started getting into it. So I'm really into it. It's starting to happen. I really feel that it's got a nice feel to it, and that's kind of like the way I wanted to go. And then,
nice looking painting. I can't wait to see the finished product. And it always cracks me up, Jeff, how you're always surprised how long it takes you. And that never surprises me. Not that you're slow. I just know what a perfectionist you are.
Well, some of the paintings, like Mushrooms to Heaven, didn't take nowhere near as long because some of the brush strokes it's a more painterly feel and it's not as realistic. So that particular painting was a little bit quicker.
It lends itself to more of an impressionistic feel, whereas certainly for all the reasons you stated, you want to go with the realism on that.
Right. So that's where we're at with that. That brings me to we are in the process of booking a summer vacation, my wife and I.
After having 10 inches of snow today, having to shovel snow twice out of my driveway today, summer vacation sounds wonderful.
Yes. And it's going to be in northern Wisconsin, which is not a good warm place right now, but northern Wisconsin in the summertime is a gorgeous place. I did a lot of vacations. It's a balmy
62 degrees.
And we're going to go there with my mother and father-in-law and my daughter and her husband, and we're going to head up there, and the baby and my new grandson, and we're going to head up there for the summer. And it's going to be unique because usually when I go up north, in northern Wisconsin, I always think of fishing and outdoor type stuff. And I think this year I'm going to take the easel and I'm going to take a couple canvases and I'm going to do some straight non-digital acrylic paintings, just traditional acrylic paintings. And I kind of look forward to that. I was thinking about that just today when we were doing it. I'm like, I'm going to do a lot of painting. So that's kind of exciting for me. But that just brings me to, overall we've been talking about how an artist goes about doing their business and what it seems like if you offer yourself up to the process of art and life and you basically believe in what you're doing and go with it, just keep going with it, and that's what you got to do. Then as long as you're working hard and doing the things that you need to do to get out there and talking to people and networking and doing everything that you need to do, you have to have faith that it's all going to come to you. And really, the part that I really think that sometimes holds me back a little bit is there's a little bit of doubt, like, is this really going to work or is this going to happen? But it's working, and there's no more doubt for me. I turn it over to the powers that I'm gonna myself. I have faith in myself that I can do this, and I have faith in God in belief that good things in the future are coming to me, because a lot of good things has come to me in the past, and I believe in hard work, and those things put together lead to success. So we're going to keep doing this, and it is March 1st today, correct?
It is March 1st.
That's 5, isn't it? Is it 4 or 5? Are we at 5 years? March?
We're at 4 years.
4 years, 4 full years going into our 5th
happy
year
anniversary. That was the other reason why we had to have the absinthe.
Yep.
How old we're getting, folks. We couldn't remember why we were going to celebrate.
I keep drinking my absinthe, and he has to have his down.
Well, you know, somebody's got to get some work done.
Yeah, exactly. After the technical.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to
cut off.
I wouldn't want to, interrupt my usual stellar camera work with, taking a drink.
So that just brings us to that was it, folks.
Well, actually not. We saw another form of art this weekend with your son.
Oh yes, my son was in Shrek The Musical.
And I saw it Friday night. Let me do the setup. And he did a wonderful job. He didn't have a huge part, but he had a very important part. And it wasn't just a one-liner part either. And he did very, very awesome. But I apparently missed the performances on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. We were in the balcony, and there was a costume malfunction on Farquhar. If everybody knows who that is, it's the small guy. It's actually played by an actor on his knees, and his legs are part of the costume to make him look short. Well, they exploded, and my son, being a sophomore in a play with a pretty good sophomore part with some lines, really saved everything. There was a moment like, what's going to happen? The legs are very funny and humorous, and it broke. And my son ran up to he was the captain in charge of all of following the Lord Farquhar around, making sure his hat stayed on. The way that the costume worked was he couldn't put his arms above his head. They were his real arms, but they wouldn't allow him to. So if his hat fell off, he couldn't put his hat back on. If his hair fell in his face. So my son's part of his captain's thing was to be doing the grooming of the.
Yeah, he was kind of like the leader of the Royal Entourage.
Right, but at the end, his leg wasn't supposed to basically break and fall off, and my son treated it like that's something that he broke and hurt his leg, and asked him if he needed a medic and could he feel his foot, and he really took that moment when the whole crowd was wondering what is gonna happen. His costume, basically, it's almost like he was fully clothed and now he was in his underwear kind of thing. It was that kind of a moment, like, and all of a sudden my son, and he had everybody rolling in the aisles, everybody. It was just amazing. A shout out to you, Seth. Amazing. I think he's a talented young man, and I think his talent, and he's found his calling and his love, and is going to be acting. So let's see what happens and how he goes forward. Yes.
Live long and prosper, folks. Yeah. And Leonard Nimoy, though I never met him, is and always will be our friend.
He is an icon. There's no doubt about it. And it was a sad day. It's just a very wonderful man, and always has been.
And an incredibly talented actor. I like how, after Star Trek was initially completed, he came out with the book with I'm Not Spock.
Right.
And 20 years later, he wrote the sequel, I Am Spock. And I just thought that was so cool how he embraced that role. And he was just quite the actor, quite the director, and quite the human being. And so we'll miss him.
Yes. Oh, no, definitely. Even in the last Star Trek movie, the fact that he was there and in it was just amazing, And from what I hear, it's a good way. He didn't suffer or go through a lot of pain, so
that's a good thing.
That's what you pray for.
And we have his body of work to entertain us for the rest of our lives.
Yes.
Take care, folks.